Hi, this is Matt Lewis from the Daily Caller, and you are listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Hi, this is Taylor, and while you're listening to all the other great shows here on Vigilant Liberty Radio, be sure to check out my show on Saturday nights called Saturday Night Cigar Lounge. You never know what we're going to talk about. It's always a fun time. That's Saturday Night Cigar Lounge, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hoyt with America Our Way, and you can hear me right here on Vigilant Liberty Radio at 10/9 Central on Thursday nights. We bring you the best in political commentary from the right-wing, conservative, libertarian perspectives coming together and bringing the best content on the internet. Be sure to tune in every week for your favorite shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey, this is Alfonso Rachel with 20 Pound Sledge and PJTV Zone Nation, and you're listening to VLR.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Show. This is The Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. I just want to apologize for the somber, quiet, mellow, direct, slow, understated tone of the last half hour. Yeah. I've spent a lot of time trying to work with Mike to bring his personality out, that people that are listening do not want to hear that kind of flat droning without any attempt at levity or comedy or sarcasm. That's just not an attractive trait in a radio show, and I just want to apologize.
Yeah, me too. And I think you're right. I gotta just kind of come out of my shell a little bit more and not be afraid to express my opinion in a snarky way.
Mike, here's the thing, man: is you have a beautiful personality, and you need to not be ashamed about it.
I know. I need some more self-confidence, I think.
I think you do. I don't know. That's just something we need to talk about a little bit more on the air. I mean, I appreciate the efforts that you make privately in order to kind of expand that. But I think that our listeners would appreciate if you did it publicly as well. I really do.
And if I wasn't so boring.
Oh my God, yes. Okay, now, folks, moving on beyond that. That's just a little tidying up I needed to do for you. We have got IJ review writer, personal friend, all-around wonderful person, Jen Van Laar on. And Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know that you've been gallivanting all over the country with your boys for politics, for personal stuff. Are you exhausted, or are you ready to take on a half hour of The Right Mics?
I'm always ready to take on a half hour of The Right Mic.
There we go.
Okay, good. Now, before
Is that the right answer?
Say that again.
Is that the right answer?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the right answer. But before we do that, I don't know, Jen, if you listened to the show yesterday, but one of the things that we are going to focus almost every single ounce of our energy on is following Josh Ernest's encouragement from Wednesday to redouble our efforts to explain the true tenets of Islam. So, have you made any sort of commitment yourself about redoubling your efforts to communicate and understand the true tenets of Islam?
Yes, I'm committed to that. I am committed to bringing out the tenets of Islam and how it destroys our country and sets people to wanting to kill people that don't agree with them.
She didn't get it. Did you hear what she just said?
I know, my God.
I totally got it, and I totally ignored it.
Jen, I want you to just listen for a second. Stop interrupting and listen to me. The question wasn't whether you're committed. The assumption is that you have committed in the past. The assumption is that you've doubled those efforts of commitment in the past. The question, based on what Ernest said, is that you've redoubled.
Well, Michael, let me jump in. Not only redoubled the efforts, which means that you had to commit and double and then redouble, but what you may have missed, Jen, we're talking about the true tenets of Islam as a peaceful religion, because Josh Ernest told us yesterday that it's incumbent upon America to understand that Islam is a peaceful religion, and that the true tenets of Islam don't cause what's been going on in Paris. So that's what we're asking you. Hausam and I committed yesterday. There, see, that's what we want you to get on board with.
I've failed in that miserably. I haven't even doubled my efforts. So I have to double them and then redouble them.
You might look at your appearance on the show today in retrospect as an intervention, that this was very appropriate and timely, because then you can join us in our yesterday it was nationwide. Today we decided it was global in our effort to just make sure that people understand that not only Islam is a peaceful religion, but that, as Ban Ki-moon, UN Secretary General, said this morning, that we must also understand what we do, the rest of the world that is, that causes these people to saw off heads and fly planes in building in the first place. So Hausam and I are committed to that. Will you join us?
I will, because I think that they're so right. And thank you for making this global today and not just America-based, because everything is far too America-based.
There's no question. And how selfish is that?
It is. That must be why they're so angry. Once we bring out those true tenets of Islam, then everything will just be wonderful.
Okay, well, now that we've got that out of the way, I don't mean to blow 8 minutes on that, but it's just, Jen, here's the thing. It's just important that we're going to have to set that kind of standard for all of our guests. And as a personal friend of mine, someone who I love and cherish dearly, I just don't want you to miss that important boat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Caring.
Caring is the other subtitle of our show. Okay, now, Jen, two things that you just put up recently, both of which I know Mike and I found incredibly interesting. So I want you to pick the more important of the two, because who knows how long it'll take us to parse through that. But I want you to talk about both of these things. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, last time I was on the show, we talked about vaccination rates and all of that ridiculousness of people getting the waivers and exemptions and how that was threatening our herd immunity. Well, now that is threatening people's visits to the happiest place on earth. And my original thought when I read it is these 9 people that went to Disneyland during the busy Christmas season, they all got the measles. Somehow, someone in the park has measles, and these people came home with it. So my original thought was to take on those famous 80s T-shirts. My grandma went to Vegas, and all she brought me back was this crappy T-shirt. So these people went to Disneyland, and all they came back with was a case of the measles. We don't know yet who brought that in there. I'm sure that person is hiding away, doesn't want to be found. Because who goes to Disneyland at Christmas with the measles? I mean, come on. But the interesting thing, 9 people are confirmed to have the cases, 8 of them were unvaccinated. So still one person that had been vaccinated did get the measles, but 2 of the unvaccinated were babies, and they weren't able to get that. And that's why we rely on herd immunity. But then those other 6 people just weren't vaccinated. They didn't publicize what age groups these people were in, or if they were children whose parents just didn't vaccinate them. We don't know, but it's just showing, again, just the stupidity of not taking seriously the science that we have to prevent these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible to me. In fact, I got, I don't know, it was probably a week ago or so, got into an argument with a woman who did not vaccinate her kids. And she's like, hey, what do you care? If your kids are vaccinated, then they're protected against what my kids supposedly might be carrying. And I was just like, oh my gosh, do you not understand the vaccination thing? The vaccination thing doesn't guarantee that nobody has it. But as you said, maybe you can explain. You could explain that I've heard it said another way, not heard. There's another phrase that I've heard about how vaccination works.
Well, I mean, the herd immunity is the one that I've always heard, and that's because when a certain number or percentage of people in the population are all vaccinated, then the instances of people getting that disease, it's just not really around within the community for people that aren't, for that small percentage that aren't vaccinated to be able to catch it. So that protects those people that can't. I have another friend that her child has an autoimmune disease and cannot be vaccinated. And so the people that they rely on that herd immunity to keep the disease out of the area where her daughter is. So
right, well, the other part of it
is
that not every child that's vaccinated is the vaccination successful. I mean, the percentage take rate on vaccinations is not anywhere near 100%. But if everybody is vaccinated, that keeps there from anybody being in the population that's a potential carrier.
Correct. And as with the Disneyland, we're not sure if it was a tourist that came in, because in many countries, measles still runs rampant. And in the research that I did for this story, they said globally 14 people an hour on average are still dying from the measles. It's not just a silly, funny, oh my gosh, you're going to get some spots and feel lousy for a week kind of thing. It's very serious.
You know, isn't it stunning in this day and age? I mean, what's the actual cost of a measles vaccination?
Yeah, I don't know that, but I mean, in the United States, it's covered as you can go to the health department and probably get it for next to nothing, especially if you're poor.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up as we're talking.
You know what else is interesting? I mean, when you throw into the equation, and I don't know. Well, I know what the answer is, but you know, the people coming across the border, as if there are people movers on the southern border, with who knows what, you know, everywhere from TB to whatever else. I mean, it would seem to me that this would be a particularly based on what I just said, this would be a good time to inoculate yourself from as many things as you possibly could.
Okay, here's what I'm looking at it. Vaccinations for measles range from, okay, this is the private sector dose contract, $2.60 to $8.04. No, here's the most expensive one, $9.25. That's
Wait, what's that, a couple of Starbucks? I mean, come on.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm just looking at all of this. Oh, you know what this is? This is all vaccinations.
You know,
this is every single vaccination there is.
I would just guess. I would guess that you know, regardless of the cost, because obviously it's low.